Last time I told you, the universe could end at any moment, with no warning at all. Today, something stranger. The universe is enormous. It's ancient, it should be crowded. And yet, when we listen, nothing. Total silence. There is a theory that explains this silence. It's elegant, it's logical, and it may be the most frightening idea in science. It ends with a choice. By the end of this video, you will have to pick a side. I have already picked mine. I will tell you at the end. In the summer of 1950, four physicists walked to lunch at Los Alamos, in the New Mexico desert. One of them was Enrico Fermi, the man who built the world's first nuclear reactor. On the way, they joked about flying saucers. Then the topic passed, and yet sat down to eat. Minutes later, in the middle of the meal, Fermi suddenly looked up and asked, "Where is everybody?" The table laughed, and then the table went quiet, because everyone understood it was a real question. Here is why that question has teeth. Our galaxy holds hundreds of billions of stars, and it is 13 billion years old. Now, even with slow ships, no magic, no warp drives, a single civilization could spread across the entire galaxy in about 50 million years. That sounds like forever. It's not. The galaxy has already lived 260 of those lifetimes. Someone should already be everywhere. The math says the sky should be loud. The sky is silent. In 2008, a Chinese author named Liu Cixin gave that silence a name, building on an idea scientists like David Brin had been circling since the 1980s. Imagine a forest at night. You know there are others in it. You cannot see them. You cannot know if they are friendly. And here is the trap. In space, a conversation with your neighbor takes centuries. You cannot ask. You cannot explain. You cannot apologize. Scientists call this the chain of suspicion. I cannot trust you. I cannot trust that you trust me. And it never ends. Worse, a civilization that is harmless today could be unstoppable in 1,000 years. And 1,000 years in space-time is nothing. So every careful player reached the same conclusion. Stay quiet, stay dark. This is the team Silence, and their case is strong. Stephen Hawking himself warned against contact. He compared it to what happened when Columbus reached America. It did not go well for the site that was found, and the physics makes it worse. You already know this rule from my last video. Anything that travels near the speed of light arrives together with its own light. No telescope can warn you. The warning and the danger are the same thing. So in a forest like that, who survives? Only the quiet ones. Which means the silence above us might not be emptiness. It might be discipline. Listen. That might be the sound of 1 billion civilizations holding their breath. Now, the uncomfortable part. Because humanity heard about this forest after we had already made noise. In 1974, we aimed our biggest radio dish at a cluster of stars and shouted, "Our location, our chemistry, the shape of our bodies," the Arecibo message. Britain's astronomer royal Martin Ryle was furious. He said revealing ourselves to unknown civilization was reckless. We did not stop. The two Voyager probes are carrying golden records out of our solar system right now. And on those records, a map. A map that shows exactly which stars is ours. We are the campers who walked into the dark forest, lit a bonfire, and started singing. But wait, because the signal gets a turn and their counterattack is devastating. Hiding, they say, is already impossible. Earth's atmosphere has been full of oxygen for more than 2 billion years, and oxygen is the signature of life. Any civilization with a good telescope has known this planet is alive since before the dinosaurs. Our silence protects nothing. The address is already public. And think about what that means. If someone dangerous knew where we were for 2 billion years and never came, maybe the forest is not full of hunters. Maybe it is full of the frightened or of friends we never called. Team Signal says the only thing silence guarantees is loneliness. Every cure we never receive, every idea we never hear, every friendship we never make. Silence pays for safety with all of it. And there is a third possibility, darker than both, the great filter. Maybe the silence means almost no one survives their own technology. And here is the strangest sentence in this whole story. If we ever find fossils on Mars, even tiny dead microbes, that would be terrible news. Because it would mean life starts easily and dies easily. It would mean the filter is not behind us, it is ahead of us. Sometimes good news would be the worst news possible. And once, just once, the silence broke. In 1977, a radio telescope in Ohio caught a narrow, powerful signal from deep space. Exactly what an artificial broadcast should look like. It lasted 72 seconds. The astronomer on duty circled it in red ink and wrote one word in the margin. Wow. It never repeated. It was never explained. But think about it in forest terms. If that was someone, why did they say one word and then go silent forever? That story deserves its own night, soon. So now, the choice. Forget governments, forget committees, it's you. You are alone at the transmitter. The message is written, everything we are aimed at the stars. Your finger is on the button. Press it and maybe you make first contact. Or maybe you light the fire that finds us. Don't press it and maybe you keep us safe. Or maybe you sentence us to be alone forever. Here is my answer. I would not press it. Not because I'm sure the hunters are out there, but because a message cannot be unsent. If silence is a mistake, we lose years. We can fix that. If shooting is a mistake, we lose everything. And there is no fixing that. I can live with lonely. Now it is your turn. In the comments, Team Signal or Team Silence. One word, then defend it. And send this video to the most careful person you know. Ask them what they would press. Subscribe, so you are here when we open the file on those 72 seconds.